So welcome to my tropical style garden here in the UK. It's May the 26th, 2024. It's been raining a lot and the garden's looking really lush, but I've got some new plans for the bottom end of the garden. I want to share them with you, so let's go have a look. Okay, so the area that I've been working on and I've got some plans for is down the bottom end of my garden. So let's go and have a look. So quite happy with the walkway as we walk through, and I really feel that in any tropical style garden a sense of journey is massive. You want to feel like that there's areas to go somewhere, and if you can achieve that in a garden, I think it really does add to the atmosphere and the feeling of that garden, which is what I'm trying to do now. But at the end of that journey, there needs to be a destination. So that's my next plan. What is at the end of this destination? So as we walk through here, I get under my gazebo. Brasseopsis mitis on the right, looking really stunning at the minute. And then this is the area I've been working on. So I've built this window into my gazebo area, and we have this tiki picture artwork on the left, and this is the area that we're going to buy new furniture for, sit under and enjoy this shady area. Now, I've spoke about this area before. I like to use pretty much just greens and variegations of green. It's an old patio that I'd like to do something with because we don't use the area. It's too shaded to sit under, and I have way too many plants to waste this amount of space. So if I go out here and look up, we have a large tetrapanax, and as we see down, it's over the years created this lovely bit of trunk that's tried to work its way out to the light and bends out from the border, which I absolutely love and is a big focal point of my garden. Then we've got these tree ferns that have been in a good 10 years, doing really well. We've got the fatsias around and the water feature I added last year. But as I sit back here, the patio just does nothing for me. It's senseless. It makes no odds whatsoever. So I've got a couple of choices here. The easy one is I take a load of the paving out to the left and the right and just create a staggered path across and going out to my other curved path around there as a way back out, which really makes sense to me as it gives that sense of journey to carry on round. And you know, what I could do is take these slabs out under these plants, because I'm basically just filling it with potted plants anyway. So realistically, why not just take the slabs up and leave them areas and put planting in? And the same with the other side. I generally fill all this area with all different potted plants, tender plants that I bring out throughout the year. So I could just plant it up and it would just look so much more lush and green. So that is a real sort of contender and my easiest option, because just taking the slabs out and getting rid of them and going over the soil and replanting isn't that hard. But then again, there's this part of me where I said at the end of my journey I want a destination, and the idea to sit under this gazebo and potentially build a bridge across straight up there, remove the water feature, and then have a path going out there. But to this side, I don't know how well this camera's picking it up, where these fatsias are here, I could potentially have a waterfall coming out there, going into a pond here, which would be more a tropical jungle style wildlife pond rather than the, I'd love a koi pond, but the work that entails and the filters and everything else is quite hard work. So the idea that that could come into a lovely a wildlife pond, but in the sense that it's got all these beautiful tropical plants all around this area. So all this area would be wildlife pond. But then if I put a bridge in there across here, I could then carry it on to a small pond here on this side, or carry it on under. So there's a bit of a stream, and then here like a large rock or something, and all nice rocks around it. Basically, I'd like to feel like if I was sat here, rather than look at patio, and I do love that water feature, but the idea of this sort of, I don't know, maybe Taiwanese stream, or and use all these beautiful plants that we can get nowadays. You know, if I look round, just around here, I've got this really nice sort of, even though the slugs have had a munch on it, begonia, and then I've got my Brasseopsis. Over here I've got another Brasseopsis, Fatsoides. Then I've got my Megafatsia polycarpa. There's this Acubia graciifolia. All these plants I'd love to get in the borders, and I'm running out of room. And I just think all these lush green types of foliage in a real stream jungle setting. And this is the area as well. In my last video I spoke about this new addition, which is my Regersia Krieg's Colossus. I could plant that in this area just on the edge of the wildlife pond, and I think it would just tie it all in. I've got the Brasseopsis as you walk in, and then I could have this other couple round. I could make a bit of it marginal so it takes the more sort of waterlogged or boggy loving plants, and then I could raise certain bits up so I can give it a lot more free draining for these more Brasseopsis or Schefflera type plants. And maybe even, because when I first started this was a bit more contemporary like area, that's why there's sort of that tree ferns there and that tree ferns there, because I was trying to get a more contemporary look with a water feature in the middle, whereas I've evolved to want a more natural, as much as my garden is sort of landscaped and designed, I want the planting to feel more natural, to be fair. So the way I could sort of blend that in better, I felt possibly I could also, if I didn't go for the rock, put, and I know it's going to cost me maybe a 5-6 foot trunked tree fern here. So as I sit under here, I would just about see the foliage here, and then I would get that balance around there. So my ideas are spinning in my head. I've got loads that I'm thinking about doing. Now, a couple of the problems with having it as like a tropical wildlife pond is obviously we've got this above it. Now this is casting a lot of shade, and there is a certain amount of sun that does get through this area that will lighten it up, but realistically you don't want trees or plants growing over ponds. Stuff's going to drop into it, all that, and also come winter all that foliage is going to drop off there and it's going to come down, and probably, you know, if I'm not on top of it, it's going to crush the plants below. That is putting me off quite a lot from doing this. And also, if I dig it out, most of us know that tetrapanics, when we cut through their roots, they produce lots and lots more tetrapanics. Now, in all the years that tetrapanics has been there, it had only sent off this one offshoot, which is just behind the Fatsia there. Now, it has sent 2 or 3 more off this year in that same border, so it's worked its way under this whole patio. Now if I dig this up, God knows how many plants I could end up with here. Now I can pull them out, I can sort of maintain that, that's fair enough. So these are the cons to it, where the beautiful wildlife tropical looking pond would be the pro. So these are my thoughts. This is where I'm contemplating what to do. I don't know, I may start off just taking the slabs out and seeing what that looks like and planting it up maybe for a year and then deciding, or the patio's not staying anyway, whatever. It's old, it needs work. I'm definitely going to do something to improve this area. Right, I'm going to leave it at that. Please leave your thoughts, ideas, if you think it'll work with the tetrapanics over it with all the leaves, because I obviously have my negative points about that. Like I say, love to hear your thoughts. See you soon.